Okay. Here we go.
Medical professional.
Uh-oh.
And now, for the not
Time.
so fair, faint, or thrilling,
Almost.
we present the Catholic.
Sometimes that happens.
Warning. The Catholic Man Show contains high levels of manliness. If you think you may be too weak to withstand the manliness represented in the following program, please do yourself a favor and stop listening now. If you choose to continue in spite of this warning, if at any time you feel yourself overcome by the manliness, stop immediately and consult your closest medical professional. And now, for the not so fair, faint, or frilly, we present the Catholic Man Show.
Welcome to the Catholic Man Show. We're on the Lord's team, the winning side. So raise your glass. Adam Minahan here with you today, sitting in studio with a special guest, Dr. Ray Guarendi from Ave Maria, EWTN, a whole list of different things that if I continued going, we would not be able to continue the program today. But
most of it I made up.
Most of it you made up?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I gotta tell you, this is going to go down possibly in the Catholic history books of the Battle of Humility. This is how I promoted the show. This is the Battle of Humility. So we'll see who wins.
I don't think you have to have a contest here, Adam. I think it's pretty obvious. It should be notable who is the most humble. I shouldn't have to say it.
I'm only going to stay quiet only through my humility then.
You acknowledged it. Now you've lost it.
Yeah, it is.
Humility is the one virtue that if you say you have, you don't.
It's the paradox.
It's a real trick.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Dr. Ray, thanks so much for hanging out with us this afternoon, or this morning.
This morning. Adam, I almost didn't come.
I know.
Because I've listened to some of your shows, and I got to admit there is a manliness component, but perhaps not enough for me.
What?
Well, I had to come down a little bit, be a little more sensitive, a little more empathic.
Yeah.
A little more nurturant, kind, communicative, sharing, interfacing. I brought myself down a little bit to be with you guys.
It looks like you're showing your emotions on your sleeves.
Yeah. No, those are my triceps.
Oh, okay. Well, we had a great talk last night at Holy Family Cathedral. You did a great job talking about discipline. It was a lot of fun.
You dozed off twice, Adam.
Well, I mean, my wife kept nudging me.
She was, and she was clearly sharpening her elbow into your ribs about 9 times.
I was worried too because you're a clinical psychologist. I was like, he's taking notes of these nonverbal skills.
It ain't pretty.
Yeah,
it wasn't pretty.
I saw you writing on your notepad.
The report is on your kitchen desk as we speak. It's there,
and that'll be $400
for a paragraph. Yeah.
Well, okay, so how about somebody who maybe doesn't listen to EWTN for whatever reason? You're on EWTN from noon to 1.
Noon to 1 here Central Time. Mm-hmm. The doctor is in. And then the TV show, Living Right with Dr. Ray, is Central Time, 9 to 10 o'clock Saturday nights. They rerun it again on Tuesday mornings at 8. And this is the parallel to the kid who's 9 years old, who can't catch a ball, but wants to play Little League, and they put him in right field. This is the media parallel to right field. They run it again on Friday morning, Central Time, 4 a.m.
4 a.m.?
4 a.m. Now, out on the West Coast, that's 2 a.m. I mean, you don't even get a ball. There's no way something's coming your way.
Well, it's so good to have you. Dave, our buddy Dave, my co-host Dave, let's see if I can do this right. This one. Yeah, there he is. Dave is only listening via vMix call. His audio is not working. He was going to be on with us, but
that's what you say.
Yeah.
You say there's no technological problems. I think Dave is a little intimidated. That's just between you and I. I saw it. He's used to being the manly one. All of a sudden, some guy comes on. It's kind of like a cruiser with 8-inch guns, and here comes the USS Missouri with the 16-inch guns that can lob these shells the size of Volkswagen Beetles a mile and a half. I think that's a nice parallel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, so if this is your first time listening to the Catholic Man Show, we do 3 things every episode, Dr. Ray. 3 things.
3 things.
Okay, first one, we open, review, and enjoy a manly beverage.
All right.
Today, because it's 9 o'clock, we thought it would be prudent to stick with coffee. We're going to drink some coffee today. This is from Double Take Coffee House.
It says double shot in the
I'm sorry, double shot. Yeah, double shot.
That is very violent, Adam.
It is.
I'm a little
double
upset.
Shot. Pop. The 1-2.
I don't know if you'll get away with that kind of language. Double shot.
It's pretty good coffee. They brew it here in Tulsa, so it's pretty good. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna drink this coffee.
All right.
We're on the Lord's team, the winning side. So raise your glass.
Salute.
Cheers.
That's Italian, you know. Salute. For your
A
health.
salute.
To your health.
Okay.
Here's my dad's favorite.
Oh, cheers.
Yeah, it
Toast.
says-
Let's hear it.
Here's to you and here's to me. May we never disagree. But if we do, the heck with you. Here's to me.
Yeah. Oh man. What do you think?
It's strong. I like it.
It is
I
a
like
little bit
strong
strong.
coffee. Keeps me awake when my wife talks to me.
Keeps you awake.
Yes, it does.
Good. Good. I also like it. It's a little strong. It is a little strong because I think
it's
the
strong.
espresso blend. But I like to take it to 11.
How do you find these things?
You go to the store. They have them there. Those brick and mortar stores.
Store.
I know it's an abstract
Ooh.
idea. Yeah, it's very abstract.
I've read about those.
Yeah.
It was in my kid's history book.
Yeah, it's a very abstract idea.
Good stuff.
It is pretty good. So the other thing that we do, the second thing we do is we highlight a man gear of some kind of man gear, something that guys want, desire, need, why they need it. We're gonna talk about a belt.
We're on belt, huh?
We're gonna do a belt.
So you know
today.
what? First of all, you're gonna get in trouble with the linguistic police. First of all, you got double shot, belt. What other violent language are you going to bring onto this program?
Authority and discipline.
Oh my!
That's gonna be the topic today.
Oh man!
So that's like a strike 3, right?
See this belt here, Adam?
Yeah.
Now, what are you? 32 years old? Something like that?
Yeah, 32.
This belt is older than you, Adam.
I actually have a belt that I had for 10 years, and my wife finally said, no
Women
more.
do that.
No
That's
more.
another difference between men and women. Guys will like a pair of underwear that they've had for 27 years, and it's fine. Okay? It's got
Right.
holes in it, maybe.
But it works.
But it works. And the women are going, I got rid of that. Where is it? It throws us into an anxiety attack. Where'd you put it?
Where?
I got rid of it. Why? It was fine.
It worked just
It's-
fine.
they do that.
I know. But it did get, to her credit, the hole had stretched out so much that 2 holes became basically 1. It was hanging on by a thread.
Kind of sounds like some marriages that I do counseling with.
Just hanging on by a thread.
Hanging by a thread. It looks like your marriage is sort of like an older pair of underwear.
Just barely hanging there. So I wanted to combine both typically we do a 12-minute segment on the drink, 12-minute segment on the gear, and then 24 minutes on the topic. But because we have so many things to talk about today, I was going to condense, for the sake of time, the topic, the drink, and the gear into one segment.
Okay.
So
It's your show. What am
it's
I
my
gonna say?
yeah. You're here. You're captive for
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
another 48 minutes. So belt. Are you pro or against the reversible belt?
Oh, man, I had one. But the only reason I had one, and this isn't manly at all, because my wife bought it for me. She came home and she said, Raymond, that belt that you had from when you were a senior in college, they don't, it was like a lariat, you know, you kind of tied it, you know, and it sort of looked pretty bad. She
Right.
said, I got you this. I said, but what side is it? One's brown and one's black. She goes, you take the buckle and you twist it. Oh, so that's what I had. But this one is not reversible at all. This one is just straight out black.
Okay.
It's the only belt I have. I have one belt.
You have one.
That's it.
I have 2. This one right here, but then I also have the reversible. That's the formal one, so that way I can go black or brown at any time. It's really good when you're traveling as well. So you're a traveling guy. You got one belt. If you need black, you need brown. You got one.
And think about being a guy. You go into a guy's closet. 2 pairs of shoes. All right, one for basketball, one for dress.
Right.
2 pairs of shoes. You look at a woman's closet, and what the heck is that? There's 36 pairs of shoes in there.
And the tornado hit it through the closet. It's everywhere. They're
Yes.
everywhere.
And you get married, tuxedo, rental, $100. Wedding dress, $4,000. We're just simpler creatures.
It's
You know, the other day I sat and I watched the Super Bowl. My buddy was there. We sat for 3 hours. Neither one of us said a word to the other, and neither one of us was thinking, he must be mad at me. The whole time.
right.
We had chips and whatever it is we had. We didn't think anything of it.
Just company.
That's all it was. Now, just to show you how sensitive we are, because we are sensitive. I'm a sensitive guy.
Right.
I was watching the Cleveland Browns, who had a very nice season this year.
You're welcome.
Compared to
Baker Mayfield.
0-16, how can you not have a better season? And I cried. I did. Because I couldn't believe they called the draw play on 3rd and 12. I just couldn't believe that.
Who does that?
Nobody does.
Everybody, it's so predictable.
My wife says, what are you crying about? I said, they called the draw play. She said, you haven't cried like that since our wedding day. I said, I know.
So belts. I'm gonna go back to belts
Yeah.
and coffee as well. So I do want to talk about coffee because did you know it used to be just a strictly Muslim drink? Did you know coffee used to be just a Muslim drink? Did you know this?
Did you learn that on Jeopardy?
I learned that on the doctor's in something I can't remember.
A Muslim drink. And it,
Yeah, so it used to be a Muslim drink, and the Christians found it, and they sent it over to the Pope. I wish David was actually on here because he tells the story a lot better than I do. But they sent it over to the Pope to see if they could drink it. The Pope takes a drink and says, "We shall baptize this coffee and make it Christian," because he liked it so much.
I have to imagine, though, it was bitter.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got cream and sugar in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the coffee that they drank was just black.
Yeah.
Tastes
Strong.
kind of like burnt
But I mean,
logs.
think about it. This is probably the first time the caffeine's hit their body in ever.
Maybe that's why he liked it so
Yeah.
much. About an hour later, he thought it was great.
He wrote a whole papal bull.
Translated the New Testament into 4 more languages.
I'm here with Dr. Ray Guarendi. I'm Adam Minahan. David Niles is just watching. We'll try to get him on next segment. We're on the Lord's team, the winning side, so raise your glass. Okay. There was segment 1. No.
No, what happened to you, buddy?
Yeah, it still sounds real bad.
Man,
Dave, did I butcher the coffee story?
no, you were close.
Yes, I'll take
You were
close.
close,
I'll take
yeah.
it close.
We shall cheat Satan and baptize this drink. Make-
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Dave.
I'm gonna keep watching.
Yeah, keep watching. We'll try to check in next segment. That work?
Yeah.
All right. Get his ugly mug off there.
How is it going to get any better? Obviously, something needs to be flipped,
Yeah,
or
well,
switched, or done.
his internet connection. So I mean,
Oh,
if
okay.
it ramps up,
The hotel's got him throttled.
yeah, he's
He's at a hotel?
It levels out.
he's in a hotel right now.
That's probably it.
So
I bet that's it.
an Airbnb. Yeah. Okay. Mute your mic, Dave. All right, you ready? Dr. Ray?
Oh, yeah. Always ready.
You're born ready? All right,
Always
here we
ready.
go. Oh, psych. We're not. You just thought we were ready.
Can you hear me any better now?
No.
Okay.
I don't know why they, Oh, that's why. I always forget. You gotta turn that on. Okay. I always forget you gotta turn that audio back on the segment to make it go. Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. Enjoying some coffee with Dr. Ray Guarendi here in my house, in the studio. We call it a studio, Dr. Ray, because it's my study, it's the studio, it's where the two studs hang out.
Doesn't
It's
look
the
like there's
studio.
any girl stuff in here, you know. I didn't notice.
Exactly.
No mini print
No
around
mini-
your ceiling.
No, there's no borders, nothing.
Okay. No yarn
No
picture.
crochets,
Okay.
nothing.
All right.
So it's the studio.
I like it.
All right. So I want to let's talk about two things that are almost like no one wants to talk about them anymore. Authority and discipline. It's like those are two hot button words that no one wants to talk about anymore.
Shrinks have done a wonderful job of demeaning authority. It's like toxic masculinity. There's a parallel there. See, authority is this overbearing, I am controlling you because I'm bigger and I'm stronger and I'm more powerful and I control all the aspects of this household. That's kind of the tinge that authority's been given. At one time, not so long ago in our culture, authority was a good word. It was a word that was healthy. It was a word that a father could properly put limits on a kid's behavior. I'll share with you something just interesting. This was probably several years ago, maybe more. They did this study on an African game preserve. They figured that the elephant herds were matriarchal, that the women kind of ran the herds.
Okay.
So they took the bull elephants out of the herd. They figured we'll use them for other places here, we'll use them for mating, etc. In a short period of time, the adolescent males started running amok. They would, for the heck of it, for playfulness, start knocking around the rhinos. They had to reintroduce the bulls back into the herd. Just their presence stopped the behavior. The elephants didn't have to do anything. Just, Dad's here.
Time to straighten up.
Time to straighten up. And it was, again, if you want to say that authority's aggressive, well, look what kind of aggression you get without authority. You get anarchy, and you get rule of the powerful, and those adolescent bulls, nobody could handle them until you got the stable males back in.
Yeah, you get the might versus right. Is what you get. Okay, so I want to get the two things that when Haley and I got married, and we decided to, okay, Luke is about to be born. We need to make sure that we're on the same page as parents. The two things I said that we were going to automatically get in trouble for as for our kids: if you disrespect your mother, and if you lie. Those are the two things, automatic trouble.
And then what if they lie about disrespecting their mother?
Oh, that's double.
Okay.
Now they're
That's bad.
Now they're going to the dungeon.
Right.
Yeah. So those are the two things that we decided.
Automatic.
No, there's no
No
more
excuses.
No excuses. You do not disrespect your mother, and you do not lie. What are your thoughts on that? Completely psychoanalyze me and my family and air our dirty laundry out to everybody right now.
This is costing you.
Yeah.
There's something I call the battered parent syndrome. A parent will be sitting in my office, perhaps, with a 12-year-old. Parent will say something. 12-year-old will say, "Oh, yeah, right, Mom." Right. Parent will say something else and try to correct the 12-year-old. "That's not the way it is. Why do you keep saying stuff like it? You just make up stuff." I don't say a whole lot for a minute or two, being a good sensitive psychologist type. And then I turn to the mother and say, "Do you hear how he's talking to you?" She looks at me in shock. Like, what? She has since become inured. Like that word? Inured? That's a manly word. Yeah, that's a big word.
I like that.
I've been saving that.
Dave
isn't going to use that word.
No, he doesn't even know that word.
No. I've been trying to use monosyllabic words so he can stay with us.
Words are hard.
Sounds like a guy. Words are hard. Use hard words. She didn't even realize that she's been putting up with this for years. She doesn't hear it anymore. I see this everywhere with parents. I came home one day, and my wife was in the driveway. Now, Adam, I know we talk about manliness, but I gotta confess, there's a very sensitive, aware side of me. And I don't mean to intimidate the guys listening, because I am a highly trained professional. So you can't expect to have the level of sensitivity that I have. I pulled in the driveway, and I noticed that my wife was upset. I picked up little subtle clues.
Nice.
She had one of the children by the neck walking down the driveway saying, I do not like them, Ray. I do not like them in my hair. I do not like them anywhere. I picked up on this.
That must be the experience talking.
It is.
It's
I
the
said,
experience.
honey, are you upset? And she said, it's Sarah. Now, what happens to us guys when we come home, our wives are upset, and we find out, we're worried that we did something wrong while we weren't there. And we find out it wasn't us. It was one of the kids.
Right.
It's like, whew.
Good.
At that moment, Sarah comes walking up. What do you want me to do now, Mom? Well, Sarah, you're going to sweep out the garage, and after you're done sweeping out the garage, you come to talk to me because the family room needs vacuumed, and I will tell you when to unload the dishwasher and put everything away. I said, what is this? My wife said, I gave Sarah an hour's worth of labor. Why? She rolled her eyes at me. Now think about this. 90% of parents do nothing when a child rolls their eyes at them. That ultimately disdainful nonverbal move.
Yeah.
Now, Sari got an hour's worth of labor for rolling her eyes at her mother. Is that because rolling eyes is so terrible? No. It's because your mother's so valuable. And so as a result, yes, I have to work on this with parents. They'll come into my office and they'll be reciting this list of misbehaviors about 20 miles long. But the biggest one's a disrespect. When you are disdainful of someone, and I would have done this last night if somebody would have raised the question, but they didn't. They were too anxious to get out of there. Anyway, if somebody would have asked me a question and I would have said, yeah, right. Whatever I said the previous hour would have been erased. They would have left there thinking, this guy's a jerk. They would have had a bad taste in their mouth towards me. Why? All I said was, yeah, right. But you see how demeaning that is. I tell parents, okay, you want to know if your kid's being disrespectful or not? Here's a simple test.
Okay.
Take what the child is doing to you, and for the next month, do the exact same thing to your boss, your best friend, or your pastor. Every time somebody says something you don't like, just roll your eyes and go, whatever. At the end of a month, ask them, do you still like me? You will know. Now, let's tie these together here, Adam. Okay, you said authority. So why don't parents do something about this? Well, there's a lot of reasons, but one of them is this. The experts have told parents you have to let children express themselves. You don't want some stuffed little automaton walking along like this thinking, okay, I will not be disrespectful, mother, but I hate your stinking guts. So the experts got parents all nervous about that. You know, I want to hear what you're thinking. Unfortunately, it goes beyond hearing what you're thinking, and it goes into hearing what you're thinking in a nasty way. And that's what's happening. They conflate the two. Expressing of feelings is disrespect. Well, I guess I got to take the disrespect because I want to hear her feelings. I want to know why she's upset. I want to know why she's angry. And I always say to parents, well, did you ever notice that they're most likely to express their feelings when they're mad at you? Especially the little kids. You know, you're going to get some little 6-year-old boy, like your little son Luke's 5. He told me, he corrected me. He's going to be 6.
I'm no longer 5. I'm going to be
within
6.
the next year. Right? At his 5th birthday, he started, I'm going to be 6. You know? I want to say to people, oh, well, I'm going to be dead.
Yeah.
You know? So little Luke is not going to say, Mother, this decision of yours to make me go to bed before I wish is really beginning to chafe me. And I'm beginning to feel anger pangs. I hope I don't have to express myself in a negative way. This is not going to happen. Okay, Luke is going to be mad. okay, and he's going to fire off stuff. He's expressing feelings, but he's also being disrespectful.
Right.
So you're absolutely correct. Disrespect is rampant now among American parents. They allow it for all kinds of reasons. We don't have time to get into that. Besides, you're not paying me, so why would I give you my best stuff?
Right. I'm surprised I'm getting verbs.
Yes, exactly right. You ain't going to get any more adjectives after this either.
Good and
Hey, by the way, did you ever hear a guy on a phone call? You know, women... Okay, I play softball. And sometimes I play co-ed. And if a woman calls the other ladies to show up for practice, Jenny, this is Barb. Yes, we were thinking of having practice at 2 a.m. Well, you know, the lights are on at the field. Yeah, well, they don't always put the lights on at 2 a.m., but sometimes they do. Okay, well, we were thinking of having practice at 2 a.m. Now, 3 of us want to have practice, 2 of us don't. Well, what we'll do is I'll call Jenny. I call my friend. I go, hey, Steve, ready, practice. Where? Willig. What time? 2 a.m. Okay, bye.
Done.
That's it. Nouns, no verbs. Just, that's it.
Bullet points. We're a
30-second conversation.
Bullet point conversations. That's what we do. Well, so when we get back, I want to talk about disciplining in public, how to do that effectively, and a few other things that I have up my sleeve. I'm wearing long
Tired
sleeves.
of you getting therapy for free.
We'll be right back. I'm here with Dr. Ray.
Hey, do I sound any better?
No, you sound like an alien.
Yeah, you got a crap internet feed or whatever it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I would have been okay earlier.
I think you had to sue him.
Hotspot from your phone.
Dude, if you were working on your bilocation more like I was asking you to, you could just be here and there. But no, not holy enough.
He can buy locute. He can't even buy locute. We can't even hear him from there.
Nah. Okay. Is there some questions?
Yeah, I've been asking, but so far no. But Father Matthew Spencer's on
Oh, nice. Awesome. Anything that we need to do before we get going again?
You roll it. I'll go with you wherever you go.
All right. That's dangerous. That is dangerous. We'll see. Adam Minahan here. Sans David Niles. We try to get him on.
Excuse me. Using Latin language is not quite that manly anymore.
Oh, it's not?
No. Semper ubi sub ubi. Just remember that for those who know Latin. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Just tell them to figure it out.
Figure it
Look
out?
it up. Semper
Look it up.
ubi sub ubi.
I know that Dave knows it. Look, he's over there pointing that he knows it. He's actually told me that before. Well, here's what he would do. He'd go back and he'd say, "Ecce homo."
Is that what that's the only thing he knows from the Bible in Latin?
Ecce homo. Ecce homo. Dave's internet connection does not work, so we tried to get him on. Can't get him on. So I'm here with Dr. Ray. You're batting. You're second in the hole. Coming up now. So.
Well, you noticed that when we had the battle for the Amelia Award, he drops out. Did you notice that? He dropped out right at the start.
It may have been just from his
Yeah,
humility.
this is the old, we have a bad internet. Yeah, the oldest complaint in the book.
He's over there like crimping the wires.
I remember back in the 1800s they used to say that.
And you saw that on the internet, which you believe everything that's on the internet, so.
Well, I saw on the internet, it said, you can't believe everything that's on the internet, and it was signed Abraham Lincoln.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
see.
you know that's true then.
Right.
So we were talking about a little bit about authority over the last break, and my question is that how do I know that you don't when a kid acts out in public and embarrasses you. You made a great point last night. Like, just don't take your kids out in public.
I don't. Yeah,
that's a great.
You pick the two best behaved ones, and those are the ones you take out.
The other ones that
People
they
say, "Do you have other children?" Yeah, I do, but
these are
these are the ones that earned it this year.
But sometimes you just have to get them out, right? And they do something that's wrong, And I almost have this, when it happens to other people, I almost have this unnerving of like, are they going to discipline them? Are they not? If they do, is it too much in public? What's too much? What's not enough? How do you...
You realize, Adam, in the way you've just expressed this question, you have reflected a much deeper phenomenon among parents, which is that somehow there's a right and a wrong way. There's a correct, psychologically speaking way, and there isn't. Well, am I doing this correctly? Am I not? Rather than saying, well, I'm dad here, and this is the way I'm going to handle this. Now, let's look at the discipline in public thing.
Yeah, because you're worried a little bit about someone calling.
That's exactly right. That's a sad, pathetic, tragic phenomenon now in our culture, which is if you discipline in some way, not even being abusive, that somebody disapproves of,
right,
you will find yourself defending not only that action, but somebody coming to your door and questioning all of your parenting. So little Luke over there, if he tells him, yeah, my daddy spanked me, and you get some 26-year-old social worker who decides that that's totally inappropriate under any circumstances, all of a sudden you're finding yourself defending yourself.
Right.
So here's what I tell parents. It's kind of like being a good burglar. What is the first thing burglars will tell you they do when they enter an uninhabited dwelling?
You know, I've never done this before.
Oh, yeah. You have to act like you don't know.
I don't know. Let me check the book. I don't know. Scout it out? Do they scout out?
First thing they do is they look for an exit.
Scout.
If they get surprised, they want to be able to leave immediately. Okay. Good parents are like burglars.
Okay.
You're out in public, say a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the restroom? Because if he starts acting up, we're going to go to the restroom. Now, you can stand him in the corner in the restroom. Just quietly walk away. If he starts to throw a fit, now this is a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
Starts to throw a fit, take him out to the car.
Mm-hmm.
Low profile discipline, but firm discipline anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What tends to happen out in public is that most people are concerned with not making a scene. So in doing so, they make a scene. They sit there and they reason with this kid, who is beyond reason. He's 4.
And hysterical.
8. Yes, you can't. You're not. Now, what did you? No, we can't have that right now. You need to put that back. We'll have that when we get home. No, that's not yours. If you take that now, we're going to get in trouble. And this happens, and the kid's just roaring at 120 miles an hour. I just watch. Sometimes what I do is I take out a pad and I look like I'm taking notes. Makes him a little paranoid.
That's what you're doing to me this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing. Well, just writing another book.
Well, your wife asked me. She said, "Would you please study how Adam talks to me? Is he communicative? Is he fair? Is he open? Is he empathic?" I said, "I'll let you know."
Okay. Yeah.
C- right now, big boy.
C-? C-. Hey, that's a passing grade, brother.
Yeah. So that's true. Out in public, it's sad. Our oldest son was about 4, and he was going to preschool. He used to bounce down the steps on his butt, and he'd like doing that.
Boom, 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 boom.
Well, you know what his butt looked like? Right. And I told my wife, do not send him to preschool until those are all gone. Because I did not want to have to deal with, they're going to have to report it. And then I'm going to get through this process of why are those bruises all there? He bounces down the steps on his butt. Well, how do we know that? It's the old he fell down the steps.
Right.
So, and that was sad. It was tragic. I wrote a book way back. This is before you were even born. I wrote this. But I was writing a book before you were born. You know that?
Are you sure?
Punk.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
86?
Yes.
Before 86?
Yes.
Dang it.
Well, I was in middle school. I was a prodigy.
Oh, okay.
Back to the Family was the name of the book. These families were from around the country. And matter of fact, I think we had one from Oklahoma City, I think. Maybe 2. We asked them, what is your parenting like? How are you raising these kinds of very admirable human beings? 70% of the family said that they spanked under certain circumstances. Mostly when the kids were younger, mostly control. I had a mother call me. She was a pediatrician from a New England state. And she said, she had a number of children. Her sons, you got 2 sons, but they got bruises all over them. They bang into everything.
They're probably downstairs right now.
Yes.
Getting after it.
And she said, and they were playing outside with shorts on, the bruises all over their legs, so the neighbors reported them. She took the case all the way to the Supreme Court. And she said, I want that book. I'm going to take that book to the Supreme Court and use it to say, hey, these phenomenal families with kids that are anything but aggressive, they're moral children, responsible, mature children, have gotten spanked. But now among the experts, Adam, here's the way I put it. If you wanted to go out, you and Haley wanted to go out, and you want to purchase the best satellite dish you can purchase,
Mm-hmm.
and this thing can pull down every rot gut channel you can find,
Mm-hmm.
and you put your little 5-year-old son in front of that thing, unfettered, he can go anywhere he wants, and you tell people, well, you know, I think that if he stumbles across something like that, I will use it as a teachable moment. We will sit down and we will say, now, Luke, what do you think about that? Do you think that's appropriate? Why could he do something differently, Luke? I will use it to teach. Probably the majority of the people would think you're stupid. But they couldn't do anything about it.
Right.
They could not do anything about it. But if you're out in that grocery store
Mm-hmm.
and you swat that bottom, little Luke's bottom,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's bizarre. We can rot out a child's soul and nobody's going to say a thing. Swat a bottom, you're done.
You're done.
You're done.
I know, it's crazy. It's different though how boys and girls are so different.
You can't say that anymore.
Oh, I'm
That's
going to.
gender assuming.
Hey, we
you
had-
can't say that.
We had a warning at the beginning of the show. If it's too much, you can just turn it off. So I did an experiment. I have my both boys. I had 2 boxes, and I said, boys, I want you to come up with a game. Here's 2 boxes. Come up with a game. You know what they did? They took the boxes, they put it over their head, and they swung at each other. And whoever could knock off the box first
That's a good
wins. I didn't give them any.
You know, come on, Adam. Obviously, you had socialized them into that
I didn't
kind
give
of
them
behavior.
any
You didn't
input.
recognize how you were socializing them. It was very subtle gender norming.
Yeah.
Is what you were doing. You didn't. You weren't aware of it. Come on, Adam.
So then, Anna, she's almost 2, same thing. Give her a box. What does she do? She grabs her little
makes it
doll.
for a doll. I
Yeah,
knew
she
it,
grabs
it's
for a
little
doll.
doll.
She goes sits in the box and she's just
you
in
are
there.
stereotyping those little children.
But it's so different how different they are. I mean, I didn't give them any input. I said just make up a game.
People for all millennia used to understand that. The unsophisticated, uneducated parents of thousands of years ago knew that. We have educated ourselves into imbecility. We now think, oh, no, it's all the same. It's just different. Any differences between little Anna and Luke obviously is something very subtle that you're doing in your family. It's a construction kind of thing that you're doing.
Right.
These people who spout these theories must never have had any kids.
I agree with that.
Jeez.
Yeah, I agree with that. Or at least only one. If they had any kids, it'd be only one.
How do you punch yourself in the head with a box? You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
then you got
real
serious problems.
You got real problems then. So okay, here's another question that I have is, a lot of guys. I asked guys who support the show. I said, what do you want me to ask Dr. Ray? Give me some content.
How much can I bench?
Yeah. Actually, somebody did ask him how much he can bench and squat. So
My
go ahead.
bench at max was 310.
310.
But
Okay.
for a 170-pound guy,
That's pretty solid.
right now, no longer I do the benches anymore because shoulders. Every guy that in the weight room that does benches has shoulder problems, especially heavy benches. So we go to dumbbells. We use dumbbell benches because you can control a dumbbell bench. So I use hundreds with each hand, and I'll get 9 or 10.
Nice. What about squats?
Don't squat anymore.
Okay.
We use the legs. The sled. I don't squat anymore. Squats are so tough on the knee.
They're really tough.
Yeah.
On it. And if you don't do it right, your back
Right,
will
yeah.
get upset too. Okay, so that was one question. So I'm glad we got that one out of the way.
Pull-ups.
Nope.
Best
Nope,
I
not
ever did.
pull-ups.
32.
32?
Yeah.
That is pretty good. What about dips?
Oh, I can do those forever because I'm light.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when we get back, I'm gonna ask the question about 17-year-old kids. How do we keep them in the faith? Can we
Oh
even
yeah,
do it?
why don't you ask something hard?
Also, I want you to exhaust the understanding of the Trinity. So when we get
I
back,
got that, and I'll do it in 4 different languages too.
Perfect. We'll be right back.
That's a funny example. That box thing. That I will use that in the future. 'Cause I have a friend who's 2 children. That's funny. They put the box to their head.
That's what I have
she
video of
makes
it,
a
too.
baby. That's so.
I have video of it
funny.
too. I mean, they put those, and they were like pop, 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 and whoever's box came off their head first.
That's funny.
It was
That's
really
awesome.
awesome.
Good.
That's what they did. I mean,
How violent.
I
What are
know.
you teaching those boys?
They would get hit and they'd be like, ah! And yeah, it was.
When the society is insane, the sane person looks crazy.
Very true. Let's bring back Dave just for a second. There he is, in all of his glory.
Can you hear me?
I can, but you still sound like you still sound like you're an alien.
You know, Dave, you sound like crap. We sound like crap. We sound like crap too, but it's just our content's crap.
Yeah.
Your verbs are crap.
It's a bummer. Hey, Dave, do you want me to ask? Do you want me to?
I'm not Lutheran.
Do you want me to ask anything or say anything on your behalf?
No.
Good. I wasn't going to anyway.
It's very humble of you.
Yeah.
All right, back to the.
That's the real thing is just, Dr. A, I don't want to take your spotlight because of my humility.
I understand that. And I like the way you're looking down in kind of a beaten puppy sort of way.
Yeah.
All right, back to meditation for you.
Okay. Sorry.
All right, ready?
Ready?
I think this is the last segment. This is the last segment, Dave. This is the last one. This is 4. Yes. Is it 4, Jim? Is this the last one?
I lost track. Sorry.
Man.
I'm not one. Obviously, poor substitute.
All right, I think it will probably.
Well, the live stream has been going for like 34 minutes.
Yeah, I hit the live stream just a little bit late. A little bit into the first segment.
The last one is, that means it'll be 48 minutes.
Yeah, so this is the last segment.
Last segment.
Okay. All right, thank you. Just want to make sure. Boom. Sometimes I say welcome back and I don't really know where they've gone or where I've gone.
Yeah, that's like saying, don't go away.
Yeah.
And I can just imagine all these people thinking, oh, shoot. I was
was
going to
just
go,
plan-
but he,
I was just
but he said,
planning-
don't go away. Oh, nuts.
So I better listen to
yeah,
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stay right there.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
Yeah. It's like, where are you going to go?
Yeah. I may buy
It's
locate.
mindless.
I don't know.
It's mindless stuff, and we say it, and I always call it that, broadcasting mindlessness.
It's what they say in the biz.
Yeah, stay right there. I'll be right back. Don't go away. What kind of nonsense? In psychology, they've done studies, and they call it mindlessness.
Right.
Where somebody will be at a grocery store line, and the experimenter will come up behind a person and say, excuse me, can I go before you? I have to pay for this. And the percentage of people that go, oh, yeah, okay. It's mindless.
Yeah.
It's, okay.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, if you got to pay for
You
it,
gotta pay for it.
I mean, I don't want you stealing it, I guess. So, well, I'm here with Dr. Ray. This is the last segment. I want to get to at least a couple things because,
Okay.
you mentioned on this on the talk last night, which you'll get on our website. But I want to go over it today, right now. How do we keep our kids in the faith? This is something that everybody has to do. Like at some point, the kids, all of a sudden, dads and moms don't know anything anymore. They know everything, all the foundation that you've built in the faith. All of a sudden, they're having to take it on themselves. How do you keep them there where you're not pushing them, you're not driving them away, and yet they still want to be part of the faith?
My grandmother came from Italy when she was 8.
Okay.
If the priest said it, that's the way it was.
Right.
She never questioned it till the day she died at 96. Priest said so. Well, why do you baptize babies?
Priest said so.
We do. That's what we do. Yeah, I'm Catholic. That's what we do. Kids are no longer like that at all. Because the culture says...
It's like the exact opposite.
That's right. Yeah, because you do it, it's wrong.
Right.
The culture says you have to question this. You can't accept this. This is your parents' thing, okay? And we know they're throwbacks. They're
Right.
Neanderthals. I tell parents, you've got to be able to answer those kids' questions. When I talk to adolescents, they have so many questions. They don't understand stuff. Why the moral stance? Why is it not okay for two people who have same-sex attraction to marry each other? What's the problem here?
Right.
Okay, because the culture says there's no problem. Every peer they know says it's no problem. So I tell the parents, the first thing you got to do is you got to be able to talk with the kids about that. You got to let them know that no matter what they ask you, well, Mom, I really don't think that like a baby in the womb, 3 months old in the womb, it's not really that old. You can't even hardly tell. I mean, I don't see why that wouldn't be a problem. Don't think that way. It is a problem. Don't do that. You can't do that. You got to say, okay, how'd you come to that conclusion? Mm-hmm. What's your thinking behind that? What did you hear? Now, parents oftentimes don't know the answers. They're as often as inept.
Is this because the idea of just logic in general people don't understand?
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to formulate an argument. They don't know how. I don't know why we believe that. I don't know A
That's
to B
right.
equals
That's
C.
exactly right. I've just been told that.
Right.
Never thought about it. Well, you can't really believe that little white round circle up there that the priest holds up is the God of the universe. I mean, I can see with my eyes it's a white round wafer. What are you asking me to believe here?
Right.
So that you somehow, now this is tough on people. I left the church for 8 years. And as I was gone and became more and more confused about the state of present Christianity, I had to scratch and claw my way back to the church. And in so doing, I had to look at these questions. So the kids, first of all, more than anything else, need to see that the faith is a good way to live because you can explain it well. You can at least give them reasons. Now, will that make them embrace those reasons? No. Why? Well, they're 17, they're 20, they're 22. They want to do what they want to do, and they're in a peer group that does anything it wants to do, and everything is flowing fast, and their hormones are roaring. So as a result, they're probably at a point in their lives where they're least likely to accept the faith. Talked about this last night. Our culture is so good at pulling people away from the faith. So good. And it's good beyond that it's just evil. It is impressively, seductively, pleasantly evil. And that's what makes it so dangerous. It portrays evil in a very nice light. How could you question that?
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Love is love.
Yeah, that's right. So as a result, the kids who are not real clear thinkers because they're youth, the parents really got to be able. We homeschooled, and my wife, very knowledgeable in the faith, and she taught the kids in the faith. And now they're all in their 20s, and some of them have left the church. They haven't rejected it. They just left it. It was a matter of, well, okay, it's just not something that I'm into right now.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah.
Been there.
And my one son who's 29, I'll try to say something to him, and he just rolls his eyes. He doesn't want to hear it. Okay, so I'm stuck virtually never talking about the faith. But that's at least the first step you got to know, and I'm amazed at how many parents don't engage their kids in that.
Well, what happens whenever the parents feel like they didn't do their job? They left the faith. I feel guilty. What did I do wrong?
Like there's
what did I do wrong?
Spiritual correctness.
Right.
If I would have always just done the right spiritual things, this kid would never have left. So obviously I fell short.
Right.
I'm spiritually deficient. That is nonsense. That is raw nonsense. Yes. Could we all do a better job? Yes. But that's because we're human, first of all. Secondly, they totally underestimate the power of the culture. Totally, completely underestimate how the power shapes their kids' thinking right under their nose, in their house. Completely. The culture can reach into your home through the computer, through your TV, through music, right there in your face. For most of human history, the culture couldn't do that. It couldn't reach inside your house.
Right.
So they underestimate that. The third thing they underestimate is that, by and large, is free will, and our Lord himself couldn't get most people to follow him. He couldn't. He's God. He had everything going for him, and he still had people react to him badly, really badly, kill him badly.
Deicide badly.
Yeah. So who do we think that we are that somehow if I'd have just done it right... That's raw, illogical nonsense.
I agree. I agree with you.
You agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. That'd be $80.
I think we need to have, and I'm a little offended here, Adam, this man show thing. I do think we need to have some ladies in here. Just to lend maybe the counter position. We can't just... It's easy for us to come in here and be manly because there's nobody around.
But it's only an hour show.
Yeah, good point. We wouldn't get to talk, would we?
No,
Okay.
we wouldn't get to talk. So the last thing I want to ask you about is, guys are listening. They're like, okay, I want to kind of be more of the disciplinary in my house. Maybe I've been slacking off. For the last,
guys do that.
Yeah, it's like I've been kind of on the lazy boy while mom has been disciplining.
And that's a proper name for it, lazy boy.
That's exactly right. How do they reclaim the authority in their house?
Two things that happen. Sometimes the women are very ill at ease the way guys discipline. He's intimidating. Look, you scared her. She's only 5. You scared her, kind of thing. I tell the ladies, if your husband is a loving, good father, let him be a man. Men discipline differently than women. They are more action-oriented. They use less words. They're more likely to follow through. They're less negotiable. Okay, that's their style. There's nothing wrong with that in the context of love. So that's the first thing. Second thing, back your wives up. Don't let them flail around in the midst of a brawl with a kid and you sit there. Get in there. Do the disciplining if you have to.
I was just in the middle of my beer, though.
Yeah, I know it. Let me finish this up here. Guys, just let the women do it. And that is, I think, one of the big places we've surrendered. And by and large, most women will want to feel protected from the mistreatment from that child. Mm-hmm. They may not like the guy's style. They think he's a wounded bear. But he's not. He's a guy. And as a result, when he steps in, they feel like, okay, he's got their back.
There's something amazing about that when men actually stand up and be the providers, the protectors, the establishers in the house.
Toxic.
I know. But you see this weight that comes off of the women's shoulders of like, finally, I don't have to carry both crosses.
Well, they're battling this kid. The women do most of the child rearing in many cases.
Right.
Well, they're battling the kid.
Right.
They're sitting there going round and round verbally, and where are we? I used to have a rule when I would come home, my wife would homeschool. I'd come home and I'd say, honey, anybody give you grief today? Now, my wife's a good disciplinarian. She's a better disciplinarian than I am.
Right.
And she handled it. But they're still going to answer to Dad, and I'm still going to do something about it because we are linked. These two fingers are locked together. They rattle one, they rattle the other. Mm-hmm. And the kids had to know that not only did Mom deal with you, but if we went too far in giving Mom too much repeat trouble, she's going to tell Dad. Well, I don't want to come home and have to be the heavy. I wasn't the heavy. I was Dad. I loved him. I kissed him before I sent him to bed early.
Mm-hmm. Do you like the tactic of? I want to go back really quick because I meant to ask this and I wanted to make sure to get in public. When we get home, you're going to be in trouble.
I don't mind that. The problem is you don't want to create a scene. If say you're at a family gathering and all the kids are running and you ask your little one, hey, that's enough now. And he looks at you like, yeah, right. And he heads back into the pack, okay?
Right.
Now, at that point, you could take him out and stand him in the corner, but you have to make a judgment. You think, all right. Well,
I think that probably would only work if you already have established authority.
That's it. Yeah, and one of the rules we had was when you act up in public, it's more trouble because I lose business.
Right. Dr. Ray, I'm very grateful for you coming and hanging out with me this morning. Thanks so much. drray.com, yes?
Yes.
And new book coming out soon?
I hope so. The most recent book is Thinking Like Jesus.
Okay.
That's not a very humble title. Who am I to say Thinking Like Jesus?
Thanks so much. We're on the Lord's team, the winning side, so raise your glass.
I like that. Raise. Ray.
Okay, really fast. Can I ask you a couple more questions that we had sent in? That work? We're off the radio, but it'll still be on our podcast if you're okay with that.
Tell Dave it's radio, RAYDIO. Everything is about me.
Yeah. Oh, is Dave still there? Let's see. Is he still? Yeah, he's still there. All right.
Hey, Dave, maybe we can. I'm thinking maybe we can make you feel at home. Okay, let's just talk like this. We'll all just do this so you don't feel isolated.
I couldn't do Dave. Dave normally does the and cheers to Jesus, but he can do it really low. I cannot. So I didn't even attempt. I'm trying to find where we posted that to get the questions for the council. You sound terrible, Dave. I have no idea either. Here it is. Okay. Realize that you leave the church across the Tiber. We currently have issues with my son who is in kindergarten. He is so active that the teacher tried to make adjustments to try to help him. He currently has a special chair that is made of wood. It is flat on top. Let's see. Is there something we could do to help? So basically,
I get that all the time.
yeah. Is there something we can do to help?
Yes.
Yeah.
Set up a system. Excellent, good, fair, poor. Now with a 5-year-old, it would be a big smiley face, normal smiley face, flat face, frown face. Teacher rates his day.
Mm-hmm.
He comes home, and all of his privileges, plus or minus, are dependent upon his day. So if she rated him a poor, then he comes home and he doesn't have dessert, and he doesn't have his favorite meal. He has green beans or whatever you want to put in front of him, and then he goes to bed early, and then he doesn't have any outside, and he can't have watch any TV, and he doesn't have his stuffed animal. That's a poor. An excellent, of course, he's going to get an extra privilege. A good is normal privileges. Fair, he's going to lose a few. Link it to home, and it's very powerful. Works almost every time.
I told you that people actually did ask about your PRs and deadlift, and I told you they weren't. I wasn't joking about that. A question. What?
32 pull-ups.
32 pull-ups.
Yeah, 32. Yeah. Push-ups. I won the push-up contest 3 years ago at the Y 104.
Wow. A question that was asked last night that I thought was a great question, and I thought it was a mediocre answer at best, but wow. Yeah, don't mess with. Yeah, that was crazy. It's like V. But I was in the middle of docking you, and then you showed me that picture, and I'm a little intimidated.
You're right, buddy. I'll smash his table.
Picky eaters.
Got that last night?
Yeah, I got that last night. I thought it was a great question because in this day and age, there are a ton of picky eaters.
Sure. It's because of the plenty.
Right.
In large part. Now, yeah, okay, you're going to get one parent's going to say, no, some children have sensitive taste buds. That's true. There's a variety in all physiological features. But for the most part, it is because. See it in adults. Look at adults. We all have our preferences. We all won't eat this. I won't go to that restaurant because I just don't like what they have.
Right.
So you see it in adults. It's a function of how much we have that we automatically lean toward. I want this. I don't want that. I could have that. Why should I have that? I don't like those are SpaghettiOs, and I don't like their shape.
If it was spaghetti squares, I'd be okay.
I could be okay. Yeah. And because in all of human history, food was a necessity. It wasn't what we've made it now. And of course, a confirmation piece of evidence on that is look at the size of us. The average American male is 196. The average American female is 164. You look at pictures from, say, World War II, big crowds of people. You didn't see the size that you see now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we are very, very much into food preferences, and that starts young.
Another one that you asked about, or that was asked about, was, well, they asked you about how to raise your kid and stay in the faith, and then you went through the logical steps, kind of like what you did earlier in the show. But I think that has something that the guilt just seems to eat parents. It just seems to eat parents up. Why?
Because they're thinking thinking wrong. They're thinking that somehow it is automatic. If you raise
it's a formula.
It's a formula. You raise a child in the faith and you do the right things. It's a guarantee. Mm-hmm. Since when has that ever been? Not to mention this culture. This is not a farm in 1880 anymore, where a kid has struggles and he still works on the farm and his whole circle of reference is within 18 miles. It's not that way anymore. The influences, the godless influences, are everywhere. They're swimming in it. Look at the surveys. The surveys will tell you that. The millennials, the people like you under 35, they wholesale are rejecting the faith. 36% of them. No faith.
None. Not moving to Protestant. Zero.
Yeah.
Another question that I really like to ask, mainly because I'm trying to write a book about it, and so I like to ask experts like this guy. you had 10 kids. How are you bringing in the liturgical side into the domestic home? What's something creative that you did with the family that said, hey, we're doing this because we're a family, we're together, we're a unit, and because we have a foundation of being Catholic?
Advent stuff. My wife always did the Advent stuff.
The wreath and...
Yeah, she did all that. We had a little Easter thing where she brought out, the little Rolling Stone in front of the fireplace, that kind of thing. She did all that. I got to admit it. She was the one who did that.
Mm-hmm. Luke, let me tell you something. Luke called me out the other day. He said, Dad, you're telling me there's an Easter bunny? I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, you're telling me there's a big bunny that goes to houses? And I said, well, where did you hear that? He goes, I'm not buying the Easter bunny, Dad.
Already age 5, huh?
Age 5. He said, I don't believe in the Easter bunny.
Dad, you're a liar.
Yeah.
Chump.
He did. He called me out. And I got to tell you, I was not ready. I was not ready for that. I thought I still had a couple years before that conversation came up.
Bunny's gone, man.
Bunny's gone. And I said, okay, well, just don't tell other kids. That's my,
So I'm whispering to his little 2-year-old sisters, it's a stick.
Yeah.
Don't buy it. It's a scam.
Yeah, they're lying. We got little fingers coming through the door crack there.
That looks like a little girl's fingers.
Maybe
I bet
so.
it is.
Yeah.
They found us.
And
they heard about the bunny.
They heard about the bunny. Okay. So Advent stuff, but as a dad, how are you? Did you have any like man trips that you took with your boys out to?
I was sloppy as a dad. I'll admit that, and not that I wasn't a religious dad, a faithful dad. We did everything in terms of liturgicals, but in terms of in the home, their mother was oftentimes the one who set up the prayer times and the time for the rosary. She reminded me, and one thing I could have done that I didn't do all that often is when I said my night prayers, I usually prayed them in bed under the covers. If I would have knelt by the bed, my boys could have seen that. Mm-hmm. Just walking by, they'd see Dad on his knees by the bed, Things that I look back on.
They say JP2, one of the reasons why he became a priest was because he saw his dad kneeling praying. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Well, wait a minute. He became Pope. So how many times do you have to see your dad kneeling to be Pope? Priest maybe 27 times, a bishop 52 times. I'd like to see the formula.
Yeah, it would be nice. I think it's 53 rosaries all in one sitting.
In Aramaic.
In Aramaic and Latin.
And levitating?
While
above
levitating.
Broken glass.
Yeah. Dr. Ray, I'm super thankful. Oh, is there a question right there? Jim, why don't you read it to us?
This is from David Lawrence. Dr. Ray, I'm a public school teacher. In one of our all-staff meetings, a teacher mentioned that our campus is suffering from an increase in toxic masculinity. What she then described, bullying, insulting, making anti-LGBT comments, fighting, and cussing seemed to be simply rude, crude, and ASBO behavior. How has the Borishan, admittedly toxic human behavior, become patently associated with masculinity?
Nice sleight of hand. I would have looked at her and said, are you talking toxic masculinity or are you talking ugly behavior? That's two different things. What you have done is you have just labeled a whole group of people on the basis of bad behavior. Bullying is not toxic masculinity, as you would call it. It's nasty behavior, and it can be done by women too. You ever see women mistreat women on social media?
Never.
Yeah. She's uttering cliches. She's not thinking more than an inch deep, in my opinion. And this is what they do.
They're talking points.
They're talking points, and if you want to call it racist, it is. Because you're basically taking a whole group of people and saying, this is a characteristic of you.
Mm-hmm. So how do you fight that?
I just did.
Knowledge? Like as a public school, he's a public school teacher.
Unfortunately, there are a lot of ideas in our public schools that are now the far, far left, and I hate to use a political term, but these ideas are now permeating public schools.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're permeating a lot of Catholic schools too.
Unfortunately, I think that's why homeschooling is on the rise.
Yep.
So anyway,
right,
okay, I appreciate
you.
it so much.
Wait,
Oh.
I want to get one question in, if I can.
It'll cost you. It'll cost you.
Dr. Ray, in your opinion, does toxic masculinity even exist? Is there a such thing called toxic masculinity?
It exists.
Masculinity be toxic?
It exists because it's been labeled. That's all. The left is very good at co-opting the language. Uh-oh, we lost him.
No, you look on
Over
that,
there, okay.
yeah, that screen.
Yeah, the left is very good at co-opting the language. They've done it with abortion. They've done it with homosexual unions. They've done it with pretty much everything they touch. And toxic masculinity is a way to basically take qualities, healthy qualities of manhood, and make them psychologically ugly. Yeah, and you watch what'll happen. It won't be just toxic masculinity will be punching you in the face. Not anymore. Toxic masculinity will be getting angry. Toxic masculinity will be uttering a curse word. Toxic masculinity will be anything that is considered inappropriate maleness by the new definition. The new, we're all just one gender here, but it all has to float towards the female side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to me that toxic masculinity isn't masculine, it's more boyishness. That it's a man acting almost childish,
Yeah.
or bullying, it's not.
That's not the danger in it. That's not the danger. If it was only labeled toxic masculinity when it is boorish behavior, that's one thing. That's just a new way to describe it. But it's not. It's going to creep into things that were once viewed as healthy. You heard it here.
Thanks again, Dr. Ray. We got to get off because
I gotta get scooting.
we got to get soon. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Dave, you did a great job. This was probably your best episode.
Yeah, you were really good, Dave. You really were. I was impressed.
See you, bud.
All right, let me cut some spots for you and we'll split at them.
All right.